Welcome back to Go Figure. Today we're on lesson 41 of Saxon Algebra Half, Overall Average. Here are a couple warm-up problems. Go ahead and pause the video and work those out real quick, and then check your answers on the other side. All right, number 1, find the average of 43, 18, 7, and 26. So remember, for finding average, we're just adding up all of our numbers and then dividing by how many numbers we have. So when we add up these four numbers, you should have gotten 94. And then divided by 4 because we have four numbers, and that turns out to be 23.5. Okay, and then number 2, the average of three numbers is 15. What is the sum of the three numbers? So there, if three numbers, when you add them up together, and you divide it by 3, you get 15. So the three numbers must add up to 3 times 15, which is 45. Even though we don't know what each particular number is, we do know that they add up to 45 because when you divide that by 3, you get 15. So our learning objectives today are to find the overall average of a set of numbers when given averages within that set. And as a reminder, the average is always the sum of the numbers divided by the number of numbers. So our first example, suppose we have 5 numbers. The average of 3 of those numbers is 6, and the average of the other 2 numbers is 14. What is the overall average of the 5 numbers? So here we are trying to find the average of 5 numbers. We know that 3 numbers averaged out equals 6. So I have a plus b plus c divided by 3 equals 6. Now it really does not matter what a, b, and c stand for. We just know that when we add them up and divide by 3, it gets 6. And actually, so we know that a plus b plus c must equal 3 times 6, which is 18. So I'm just going to write this, a plus b plus c equals 18. And then the other 2 numbers average is 14. So if we have x plus y and we divide by 2, we get 14. So we know that x plus y then must equal 14 times 2, which is 28. Now, you might be tempted to say, well, the average of these 5 numbers just must be the average of their averages, right? You must just add 6 plus 14 to get 20, and divide by 2 is 10. You think the average is just halfway between these two. But I'm going to show you how that's not the case, because you have more numbers that average out to 6. So your average of all 5 of these numbers is actually going to be closer to 6 than it is to 10 or to 14, instead of being right in the middle of them. Okay, so our first set of numbers, they add up to 18. Our second set of numbers add up to 28. So what we're trying to do is find the average of all 5 of those numbers. So we would add up a plus b plus c plus x plus y. Now, we just found out that a plus b plus c is 18, and x plus y is 28. So if we add those totals together and then divide by 5, because we have 5 numbers total, that will give us the average of the overall average of those numbers. So 18 plus 28 is 46. Then divide by 5. And we end up with 9.2 being the average. So see how 9.2 is closer to 6 than it is to 14. It's not right in the middle of them. It's closer to 6 because we had more numbers that averaged out to 6. All right, second example. In the 7th grade class, the average weight of 8 boys is 100 pounds, while the average weight of 11 girls is 92 pounds. What is the overall average weight of the students? Okay, so here we're going to figure out, well, what is the total weight of the boys in the class? So there's 8 boys times the average of 100 equals 800. And then the total weight of girls is 11 girls times 92 pounds. Again, we don't need to know the individual weights of each person. We know the average, we know how many people there are, so we can figure out the average of the entire class. 11 times 92, and it's okay if we use a calculator on this, it's 1,012. And then to find the average of the class, you would add 800 plus 1,012 and then divide by how many students we have. So 8 plus 11 is 19. Okay, and then when we add that together, 1,812 divided by 19, we end up with 95.4. And that's actually approximate, so I'm just going to make my equal sign a little approximately equal to sign. So the average weight of the students is 95.4 pounds. So I'll put LBS, pounds. Here's your practice problem. Go ahead and pause the video, work this out real quick, and then we'll check your answer on the other side. Okay, the average price of the first 4 items was $40. The average price of the next 6 items was $80. What was the overall average price? Okay, so our first 4 items were $40, averaged to $40. So we'll do 4 times 40, which is $160 that they totaled. And then the next 6 items averaged $80. So their total price was $480. Then we can add these together to figure out what was the total price that we paid. Which would be $640. So $640 for how many items? 10 items. So to find the average price, we're just going to divide 640 by 10. So the average price of an item was $64. All right, that's all for today. So go ahead and do problem set 41 and then read lesson 42 in your textbook. Have a great day. See you next time.